All right, there he is. How you doing, man? You doing good?
I'm good, man. How you been?
Good. Just dealing with the overreaction, of course, this week. So wait a minute. So you were on, you were off. Now I think you're kind of
What you
trying to
mean?
get back on again. He had a
Nah,
bad week this week. Is this just a bad week for you for Tua? Or did you overreact also and you know he can't play anymore? He sucks, he choked, and you're done. Are you off the bandwagon again now?
one. I don't
How
want to
did
be.
you
I don't want to be on the bandwagon. I am a
Well, we're
two.
not allowing you on it anyways. You got
Yeah,
off
I
already.
know. Two and
So how do
on.
you view all of this?
He didn't have a great game. Okay, guys don't have a great game. He played the number one defense with poor protection, no run game. And he had some turnovers. Not all of them were his fault, but they led to the contributed to the loss. Was he off the mark on some passes? Absolutely.
A lot,
Was
a lot.
what
God,
some
I've never
passes
seen that.
did
I've
some
never seen
passes
that
get
from him.
dropped? Yes,
I've
they
never
did.
seen that from him. You know,
Come on, he's been off the mark on passes.
not like that. Not like that. I've never seen him like that, bro.
Listen,
Like
this
they
is
were open. It wasn't pressure. If you go look at it, there's nobody on top of them or anything. The receivers are open. They're by themselves. Really, they have space. He was. Yeah, it's just one of those days, dude. To me, it was just one of those days. Like he had a shit day. To me, it was a guy pressing so hard to win a game for the guy that has believed in him since he got here. And I think he wanted to win so badly. He was squeezing that ball a little too tight and releasing it too early, releasing it too late, or whatever. And it just got in him. And I just think it was one of those where he was trying so hard to do it for McDaniel that's where it
no,
all went bad.
I disagree with you. I believe the alterations made to the offense to compensate for the inability to protect and the speeding up of the offense and the harassment that he was under probably led to him rushing things a little bit. Probably contributed to him maybe taking a second to half a second more to speed up that throw because and it threw off his timing and his accuracy. Not to say that, like, let's put some respect on the 49ers, even though Mr. Irrelevant beat them. That's a defense issue. But let's put some respect on the 49ers. 49ers have the number one defense in the NFL. They've got some dynamic weapons, and they are probably one of the 5 hottest teams in the NFL right now. And
I'd love to give him the credit. I just watched the game and it wasn't. He had open guys, bro. He just missed them. He just and by the way, throwing fast, he's the fastest thrower in the NFL. He's the guy that makes the quickest decisions in the
quarterbacks
NFL.
miss open guys. Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes, Joe Burrow, Justin Herbert. Do they miss open guys?
Yeah, they have their bad games.
Tua can't miss open guys, correct?
Well, normally he doesn't. That's what I'm saying. That's why I'm looking at this as an aberration more than anything else.
It happens, and you know when it happens when you're facing the best pass rusher, the defensive MVP of the league right now. Where if you add up, look at Micah Parsons' numbers and look at Nick Bosa's numbers, and you'll see who the defensive MVP of the league is.
No, I get that, dude. I'm not denying his greatness.
Okay.
I'm not.
It happens. It happens, especially when you're facing the number one defense in the NFL. It happens, especially when you're if this happened with Teron Armstead, healthy Teron Armstead on the field, I'd say, oh damn, Tua sucks. Tua's not as good as you think he is. Like, bro, he was facing the best defense in the NFL, the defensive MVP, without his best protector. What the hell do you want? What do you expect?
Listen, nobody will talk about it. There's only been, I think, 2 quarterbacks that have thrown over 250 yards and 2 touchdowns versus the San Francisco 49ers, Mahomes and Tua.
Yeah,
only 2 guys all season.
The last 2,
even in the loss, even the loss, there's a positive to it. Against that
let me ask you a question. Let me ask you a question.
It's just I saw him miss too many open guys with no pressure. That's the only reason why I treat it all to an aberration, even more than their defense. I just think it was more of Tua being off in my eyes.
And it happens. The interception that's tipped and goes to a defender, that his fault?
What's that?
The interception that's tipped and goes to a defender. That's
it was a terrible pass. The one to Tyreek Hill, it was way off. Way off. It's his fault. His fault. The last play of the game with the Gesicki.
Did it hit Tyreek's hands?
Dude, it doesn't hit Tyreek's hands. He's like this way. Like he had to reach for it. He had no shot at it. And then it got tipped and got intercepted. And the Gesicki one, he puts it right here in the shoulder where the defender can get the ball. If he puts it out here, it was all ball placement for him. For whatever reason, he was off. And it really, go look at it. It wasn't really due to pressure.
These standards are super high. He must be the most accurate passer in NFL history.
He's the most accurate passer in the NFL, not history. He is the most accurate passer in the NFL.
I think Geno Smith's got him.
Geno might be ahead of him right now. I think
Geno's got him right now. But I hear what you're saying. I just think the standards are way too high for a guy who has never made a Pro Bowl. Like let's put it in. Let's come down just a little bit.
But you can't have it both ways. No, we can't have it both ways. We can't have it for the first 2 years where he's dog shit and he can't do anything. And then you're looking at what he's doing. He's actually doing pretty good considering the situation. Now that he has played at an elite level, why can't I expect him to be elite?
You got a top 5. Where's Tua? Do you have him as a top 10 passer or you have him as a top 5 passer?
Right now, top 5. Yeah, passer.
I have him as a top 10 quarterback.
Whatever, bro. It's a pissing contest. Who cares?
I mean, but I'm just saying, your standard.
Top 10 and I have him at top 5. What do you have him at, 6 or 7? You don't have him at 10.
I don't know what my numbers are in terms of how I would rank him, but he's not a top 5 quarterback right now. He's a top 10 quarterback, and there's no shame in that. But yes, he was in MVP. He was in the MVP conversation, but he'd have to continue to perform at a super high level. He'd have to, right now your season's in jeopardy. You lose to the Chargers. And that's where, after my conversation with you last week, I sat there and I thought about it. If you want to be the MVP and you want to be in the conversation of NFL elites, this stretch, the 49ers, the Chargers, the Bills, you got to win 2 of the 3. If you want to have that conversation of being the top 5 quarterback, being in the MVP conversation, securing your team's AFC East division championship. Now, if you can't take care of business during that stretch, that's where elite players are. Now, if you can't take care of business, no matter the circumstances during that stretch, you're not in that elite conversation.
Oh, yeah, I know. But it's way too early to even take him out of the elite conversation after one loss.
Yeah, no, I'm not taking him out of it. We shall see.
He played like shit, and they were down 23-17 with a couple minutes left in the game. And then the game got out of control, but it's a deceiving score. It's not really the real score. They were 1 score away with Tua playing the worst quarterback he's played in 3 years. Okay?
Oh, this ain't the worst, brother. This ain't the worst.
Oh, yeah, no.
Tennessee last year was the worst.
He had open guys.
Tennessee last year was the worst.
Tennessee was bad coaching is what it was. Your running back runs in the first half. You decide to abandon the running game in terrible conditions. Meanwhile, on the other side of the ball, they have a real coach that says, "No, we'll keep running the ball because we got to compliment the quarterback." But the moron says, "Nah, forget about dude."
Tua played poorly.
Yards in the first half.
Tua played poorly in Tennessee and played much worse.
I know he played poorly, but there were reasons why he played poorly. In this game here, that's where I'm deciphering the two. In this game, I laid all on Tua. Every single ounce of this loss was on Tua Tagovailoa because he missed open. He left 200 yards.
Why didn't your offense run the ball more?
Dude, you can't run against the number 1 defense, bro. They're the number 1 against the run. You're not running against them. He threw for 300 yards in a loss. He would have thrown for 500 yards if he actually hits those guys. I mean, he was on. It was the weirdest game in the world for him. He hits guys that he normally hits, and it was just one of those things, and I'm fair where I'm blaming him this week. The Tennessee one, I don't blame him. I blame everything around him that helped him fail, that set him up for failure. You can't run for 60 yards in the first half against Tennessee and then say we're not running in the second half. You go ahead and bail us out with the arm. Bro, he doesn't have weapons. He has one guy he can count on. Come on, man. I just thought that was unfair to him in the Tennessee game. This week, I can't give him a break. I just can't. I really can't. By the way, it has just been reported Von Miller is out for the season. He just had surgery. So the thought of him coming back and possibly coming back for the back end or the playoff run, that is over now. The Bills have lost Von Miller for the remainder of the season, which becomes a real disaster of a signing because you basically signed him for that. You were trying to just keep him, together in one piece to get to the playoffs and then let him, help you win the Super Bowl, which obviously he can do those kind of things. So that's a hell of a loss right there.
Not a disaster of a signing, just not a good situation, unfortunately. I mean, but this is part of the NFL. Injuries are a contributor. Injuries are a factor. So,
but it's the guy they needed for their defense in the playoffs, is what I'm saying. That's why they got him.
It's not going to stop them. They're going to get to the postseason. They're going to face Miami in the first round or Tennessee in the first round. And then depending on what they do there, I think they could beat both teams without Von Miller. And depending what they do there, they'll get to Kansas City and whether they can get through Kansas City.
Yep. And by the way, Mark McCormick, you idiot. He goes, Big O blaming coaching on Tua's bad game in Tennessee. Just another excuse. Dude, I'm blaming Tua for this past week, you moron. That's the difference between you and me. I see when it's his
Tennessee
fault.
Was by far his worst performance.
And it wasn't his fault.
Don't
force somebody to throw in the rain, Omar. If you can run the ball in the first half like you did,
I sat here and I argued with you, and we went through the playbook, and I gave you situation after situation and scenario and said to you, they can't run in this situation. So you looking at it.
Why'd they run in the first half?
We went.
Why'd they run in the first half? Omar?
Because the situation allowed it, the score allowed it. Then I showed you. We did this already, Big O. We went play after play, and I said we run in here.
Memories as bad as Joe Biden.
No, I challenge you on this. I challenge you on this. I remember we went play for play. I brought out the playbook, and we went play for play and discussed it. And I said, we running on 3 and 13. Is that what we doing?
You don't run on 3 and 13. You try to run in first and second so you don't end up on 3 and 13.
Stop it. We're not going to do
this.
No,
that's common sense.
We're not going to do this. Listen, let's move on. Let's move on.
You just have this love affair with Brian Flores, and I don't know what it is, bro.
I don't
know what happened in that. I don't know what happened in that interview. You guys snapped up.
You know me and Flores, we not good. We not friends. We not going to speak. We see each other in Indy. Come on, bro. You know that. We're not having a drink.
He's coming over to your Christmas party.
No, bro. We not good. We not good. I'm not. No, sorry. We not good.
By the way, they screwed us for Eric's party. They moved the damn Buffalo game right on Eric's party, bro. That's crazy.
Oh, damn. Oh,
yeah.
I could go over there and watch the game at Eric's house. I could go over there and watch the game at Eric's house.
I know you can, you bastard, but I got to work.
Oh, okay. Oh, shit, yeah. The lechon. Yeah. I mean, I'm looking forward to the lechon.
Yeah, I know you're looking forward. I know you're looking forward to the lechon. Of course.
You know how much I look forward to the lechon. Like, I know. I'll be there, Eric. I'll be there.
Yeah, you'll be there, but me and Poop
but Eric, I need some mojo. I need to feel the savor of the smoke and the mojo. So that lechon, it's got to soak for at least, if you did it a week last year, it's got to soak for 10 days this year.
If I knew how to cook like Eric does, I would ask him to build one of those big, beautiful tents and kitchens and grease trap and everything back there like he's got. He's built it actually for a couple of our listeners. Actually, they've actually done that.
I am actually thinking, because my neighborhood, they changed the zoning and I got one of those huge, massive backyards. I'm thinking of building an efficiency back there.
Oh
and
yeah,
renting
you
it out.
cook. Yeah, you
Yeah.
cook. Oh,
Oh, no, I'm talking about rent it out.
Oh, okay. You're talking about money now. Okay.
Extra income. Yeah. And you know, have some tenants. I'm
God.
trying to think ahead.
But you better not hire some party guy. You know, you better hire like an old lady that's like 75 and she's not going to do anything except pay the bill every month and watch television. And that's it. You hire like a 21-year-old and there's all kinds of parties going on. Everybody's getting high. You got to like hide your kid.
Who said we're not doing it in the main house? Like, I love you, Big L.
Same here, my brother. Same here. By the way, were you what'd you think of the Eric Fisher signing for the Dolphins?
Can't hurt.
We talked to Matt Verderam, who's been, you know, he's in Kansas City and obviously watched Fisher for many years, and he's a Kansas City fan. And he liked the signing. He says obviously he's had his share of injuries, but I think you're not asking him to play every game now, Omar. So you're just asking him to be the insurance policy, which, by the way, he's played right tackle and left tackle.
I'm asking him to be the starter.
Swing tackle insurance
I'm asking him to be the starter because
God, you're going to bench Brandon Shell, bro? Come on.
No, Brandon Shell's my right tackle.
You're going to bench Armstead?
Listen, no, Teron Armstead. I don't believe he's coming back this week. I don't believe he's coming back next week.
Like, oh no, he's coming back. No, he's coming back this week. He might have been able to play last week if it was a playoff game.
I don't believe it.
Okay.
When I see it, I believe it.
Okay.
When I see it, I believe it. I knew he wasn't playing
last week. If he can't play this week, you're not looking to replace him. In other words, if he's playing,
no, I mean, yeah, if he's playing, and understand, if he plays, and this is what people got to understand, if he plays, he's playing at 70%, and I'm being generous. And every defensive lineman is going to try to tear that peck apart. Yeah. So understand, it might not last long. So you better have a backup plan, because Armstead here, Super Bowl contender. Armstead not here, might not make the playoffs.
Right.
So you better have a plan. So Eric Fisher is my starter. I'm not planning for Teron Armstead. I'm giving Teron Armstead, I think he would conservatively need 3 weeks, talking to my coworker, Douzable, Leger Douzable, who suffered the exact same injury. And he's like, no, you can't play with that. Not on the O-line. I'm going to attack you. And he's a defensive lineman. He's like, I'm punching at that chest every snap.
Right. So it all depends on how big the tear is, which is something that we don't know.
Yeah.
That's the thing.
You now, if he does, and I know what Tua's done, I know what Tyreek Hill has done. If he does play and does play at 75% or higher, he's the MVP for the season. Like, hands down. And I get it. Tyreek might be a 2,000-yard receiver. Tua might be in the MVP conversation, but none of that works without Teron Armstead.
Well, none of it works without Tua either. Without the QB, it ain't working, bro. Okay, I mean, you're not 8-4 with Teddy Bridgewater. You're not 8-4 with Skylar Thompson, and you're not going to the playoffs with Teddy Bridgewater. So
fine. Fair,
you know,
fair.
it's you know,
what's their record without Teron Armstead?
Okay. 0-1. 0-1. But just lost this week. That's it.
He's played
the other 3 games don't count because it's without Tua. You're 0-3 without Tua. You're 0-1.
All right. I'll allow it. I said I'll allow it.
I said I'll allow it like I see it. By the way, Ian Rappaport reporting details on Von Miller's surgery. The MRI and other images did not adequately show a torn ACL. Original plan of the surgery was to reposition the lateral meniscus that had moved into another channel, while also cleaning up the cartilage damage. During surgery, they found the torn ACL.
Yes.
And then
that happened to me too. Went in for a scope a week before I was supposed to go on vacation at Cancun. They found an MCL tear and had to repair it. unfortunately, they never told me. So here I am. I'm thinking I'm supposed to be walking around at Cancun, and doctor's like, yeah, you could go. No need to reschedule. Everything's going to be fine. Literally, I go to Cancun with a brace on and crutches and can't understand why I can't walk. Come back for my recheck. There's like, yeah, while we were in there, we saw an MCL tear and we had to repair it. They don't know what until they open it up and look at it. They don't know. They don't have a clue.
Yeah. Sometimes they can't tell all the damage, right?
Yeah,
because everything's all bunched up. So it's sometimes it's hard to really be able to read everything. So once they cut you up is when they really find out. They went
in for Von Miller, thinking they were gonna scope and start to clean shit out and help him get back. And they're like, oh, it's a tear, and had to repair it. Season done.
Yeah. I mean, I don't want to see that to anybody, but I'm just saying, what can I tell you? I'm not going to feel sorry for the Bills. That's for sure.
Hey, let me ask you a question.
I've watched the Dolphins have so many injuries this year. It's just freaking ridiculous.
Let me ask you a question. And this is a conversation I could have with you because I know you're an educated Dolphins fan. You know how I felt about this defense all year.
Mm-hmm.
You don't give them no responsibility and blame for that loss last Sunday?
Omar, I give them some responsibility. My problem is I know who they are. And I've been telling everybody, you got to reprogram yourself, bro. This is not a defense that's going to bail you out of shit. Once in a while, they're going to make some plays, but it's the offense that's going to bail you out. This franchise has changed.
So hold on,
you're always waiting for
because you got an offense
and Jones and
because
Taylor,
you got an offense. You just drop your standards for the defense when.
Yeah, bro. No Byron Jones, no Nick Needham, no Brandon Jones. It's just a different team without that secondary. You can't blitz and go after people the way you were doing it before because you have a secondary that is kind of patchwork. Eric Rowe is a shell of what Brandon Jones is. Eric Rowe excels at covering mostly tight ends. He really does not excel at covering receivers and running backs. Now you're asking him to do that. They have nobody to replace Brandon Jones. And then Kohu, who has done, Darth Cater, who has done a fantastic job, but you can only ask Darth Cater so much because it's not fair to an
undrafted rookie
kid from Division II, but he's done a marvelous job overall. You know what I'm saying? So, we're Keon Crossan and we're Bethel and all these guys. I'm sorry, Omar. I'd love.
What about the linebackers? What about the linebackers
from that defense?
What about the linebackers?
You
have no standards for these linebackers. You're just going to have no expectations or standards for these linebackers. Just like, it's on the secondary. They're not what they used to be. So the linebackers don't have to step up. What play has Jerome Baker made?
Right. No, listen, I like Jerome Baker. I like him as a weak side linebacker. I like him as a pass rusher. I like him in coverage. I don't think he's the guy that's going to clean up everything on the running game. He's not a thumper. That's never been his game. And if it's something that you and I have talked about, and if it's something that I do like him in coverage, but the one thing what you and I have talked about, and we've all talked about this, they don't have that stud thumper middle linebacker that can run sideline to sidelines and is a heat-seeking missile, and that they're missing that element at the linebacker spot, which again it lowers my expectations for them overall. I'm just, I think they're a decent defense and they can make some plays and they're going to bend a lot and sometimes they won't break and all that. But in the end, dude, this is a team that's going to be carried by their offense. And their offense has to take leads because this defense, if they're going to have a chance, they need to be a front-running defense. You don't want to put them behind the 8 ball where you're like in Baltimore down by 21 and you need miracles of God. And, they did their job, but that's because they weren't playing against an elite passer. So they got lucky in that game that they didn't face an elite passer. But to me, I can only expect so much from this defense. So my standards have been lowered for them. Yes.
You don't expect more from Chubb? I'm not even going to put anything on
No, Jalen's played his ass off, bro. Jalen's played his
I'm
ass
saying
off.
Chubb, Jalen.
Mm-hmm.
What about the Chubb, Jalen, and the defensive tackle?
That's fair. They've got to do a better job of their base being able to get after, because you don't have the luxury of blitzing all the time, because now you're going to serve up that secondary. So you are correct. Okay. Does the base defense with Christian Wilkins, with Sealer, with the aforementioned Chubb and Phillips, yeah, they need to do a better job of
Andrew Van Ginkel's out here balling. Let's let everybody else need to raise the standards too. Like,
yeah, no,
your guy
need to pick it up a little bit more. Yeah, I would agree with that, but it's still, I don't think
it's just like an injury. When some part of the body is ailing, every other part has to step it up and carry that load. Like, I don't see everybody carrying that load.
Yeah, I just don't think they're that good. I think you're expecting a little.
Then we need to get a coach that can get them that good. Because
no, you need to get healthy. You need to get that defensive secondary back so you can play how you like to play with that front seven. So if you're not going to play that way,
you can't adjust.
Go get the thumper in the middle, because you need that badass linebacker that's also a pass rusher.
Let's not put it on there, because Landon Roberts is having a good year. Now you know his limitations.
Landon can't cover if his life depended on it. He's not a guy you want out, and you saw him the other day in coverage. You know, that's unfair to him, and that's unfair, and it's unfair to Josh Boyer that he has to play certain people out of position, like Eric Rowe or Landon Roberts, who's then put out in coverage. And the poor man that's just not his game, dude. His game is short yardage versus the run. That's where I want to Landon Roberts. I want him
on pace for a career year. On pace for a career year. 25 tackles from 100 and 2.5 sacks. But you know, I hear what you're saying.
Yeah, I know. Go look at the tackles. Are they behind the line of scrimmage, at the line of scrimmage, or how many yards are they downfield? And he's headed for a career year because you're playing him more than you really would like to play him.
Fair.
That's
fair. Touche.
All right. What do you got going on this week with the Dolphins and the Chargers? What do you think happens? What's the prediction?
I'm going to predict a win because I believe Tua's outshines Herbert. I think that we will have a comeback game.
Don't tell Dave Hyde that, by the way. Don't tell Dave Hyde that.
Listen, you know how he feels about Herbert.
Oh, he loves Herbert, bro. He loves him some Herbert.
Listen, and Herbert's got all the tools that you need, but you know what's missing? The it. And Tua's got few of the tools that you need, but you know what he's got? He's got it. And I'm always going to ride with it. I think this is a pivotal showcase game for him. It's time for him to show the world who he is.
Do wins get attributed to the QB?
Of course. It's a stat that is kept with quarterbacks and coaches.
I'm with you, bro. I'm with you. I was trying to explain that to Dave Hyde. I was telling him, okay, so look at 17 years with Marino, 20 years without.
It's recorded for coaches and quarterbacks. It's not recorded for GMs, coaches and quarterbacks, even though I heard it mentioned during the Tennessee's GM firing.
No reason to fire him, bro. That's a power trip that Vrabel wanted. And I get it. He's earned it.
Yeah.
But he should have a job like this. Hire John Robinson, bro. Did a really good job over there.
I do want to take the opportunity to promote. We've been talking about I Am, Pac-Man Jones's I Am. All for the past 3 weeks. We've been shooting Brandon Marshall's I Am. Pac-Man's I Am came out today at noon. It's a documentary style reality series type look at Pac-Man and his life. Pac-Man, I would argue to you, is probably one of the most misunderstood athletes in the NFL. Do you know why Pac-Man served more than a year's suspension when initially getting in trouble in a Vegas strip club? Because because the Atlanta culture, you know how before Making It Rain became a thing, they've been doing Making It Rain in Atlanta for years. And Pac-Man took that to Vegas and it created and he made it rain in Vegas during I believe All-Star weekend, and it created a chaos in a club and led to a guy punching him, and he punched the guy back.
Suspended. Yeah, but it also led to a man getting paralyzed because he got shot.
Yeah. So he
was a former major league umpire, by the way. I don't know if you knew that.
No, I did not know that. So he's paid his money. Served his penalty, paid his money to people who sued him. But one of the most genuine, when I say if I need anything, I could count on Pac, and I can't say that about everybody.
He does look like a cool dude. I will say that
he's a very cool dude. And this portrait of him, it's a new series that we're doing. I Am, where we're really telling you who these people are. It's a personality profile. And I hope you see it. He's adopted Chris Henry's kids. He's raising them. And hopefully everybody will go on YouTube, find I Am Athlete, look at Pac-Man Jones's I Am. And
for you youngins, by the way, Chris Henry was a very talented receiver for the Cincinnati Bengals, and unfortunately didn't have his head screwed on right, and committed some mistakes, and then unfortunately in one of them it cost him his life. And so that's why Pac-Man is raising his kids, just in case, for the youngins out there that probably have no idea who Chris Henry is.
Yeah, tragic story, but it's got a great ending. I've seen the Chris Henry Jr. is the #1 ninth grader, rated ninth grader, and phenomenal athlete.
Is he a receiver like the dad?
Yes, he's a receiver like the dad. Phenomenal athlete.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. We'll check it out and follow him on Twitter. Oh, by the way, so you got the Dolphins winning, you said, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Follow him on Twitter at Omar Kelly. And, of course, catch him at I Am Athlete. Omar, as always, thank you, my friend. We will catch up next week.
All right. Appreciate it, man. All right.
You got it. Essential moving experts. Moving was never so easy. Long moving services, home moving services, long distance moving, office relocation. I'm telling you, call Sean Williams. The great people there at 844-368-5750. Flat rates, no surprise charges, and he's a huge Dolphins fan. That billboard around me, it's Dolphins colors, so's his website. Okay, it's not something that we did on our own. That's his real logo right there. Dolphins colors. Why? Because he's a monster Dolphins fan. So check it out. And they work all over the country. 844-368-5750 for essential moving experts.
This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show.